Hello there, you're now with me, Lorenzo Isaac, for TVS English News at 5. Let us begin with the top stories for today. The body of the last victim of the boat capsized tragedy involving 7 individuals at Sungai Nangasong on Sunday was found at 6:57 a.m. on Tuesday nearby Begalak Camp, Batang Rajang. Fire and Rescue Department spokesperson said the body of Gawing Mancha, 47 years old, was found floating face down.
Rescuers then fished out the body some 5 kilometers from where he was last seen. The body was then taken to the Song Town Wharf to be handed over to the police for further action. In the February 12 incident, the other 6 victims, including a child, were rescued. It is understood that the longboat they were traveling in were headed to Song Town from Rumah Eke Nangapan and capsized due to the wave interference. With the discovery of the 3rd victim, the search and rescue operation involving agencies and local villagers was called off at 8:08 a.m.
A morning inferno has fully devoured part of a 34-door rumah dangat Jalan Singba located at Sungai Kawi, Bintagor on Tuesday, February 14. According to the spokesperson for the Fire and Rescue Department Bomba, firefighters from Bintagor and Serkei fire stations managed to control the situation and save 17 doors of the longhouse. The incident caught the attention of Maradong Assemblyman Datuk Ding Kwong Hing. In a Facebook posting today, Ding sympathized the victims for their loss. The number of residents affected weren't disclosed by the authorities and the cause of the fire has yet to be ascertained. This is the 4th longhouse that has been gutted to the ground. The other 3 were in Sungai Asap, Bintulu and Limbang. The construction of road from Kampong Kebuau to Bungan Kecil is in line with efforts to develop the coastal region of the Melanau majority area. The 10.9-kilometer road, costing 103 million ringgit, began on March last year and is expected to be fully completed by September 2024.
Jamoring Assemblyman Dr. Juwanda Jaya said the project also includes the construction of 9.3 kilometers of spur roads to villages and longhouses in the area.
Siap package A, package B, jalan Kebuau ke Bungan Kecil di samping jalan daripada Jambatan Igan menuju ke Kebuau ini kelak siap. Sudah pasti ia membawa manfaat kepada kawasan pesisir Melanau. Iaitu penduduk daripada kawasan Daro, Matu, daerah kecil Igan, daerah Dalat, daerah kecil Oyak, bahkan daripada sejauh bahagian Mukah akan mendapat manfaat di mana jalan raya dari arah Jambatan Igan menuju ke Sibu hanya sejauh 70 km.
In connection to this, he urged the community to cooperate in order to facilitate the construction of the project.
Adalah umpama mimpi bagi rakyat di kawasan ini. Bilangan penduduk yang amat sedikit, tetapi jumlah pembelanjaan yang mencecah hampir 1 bilion ringgit bagi membawa pembangunan ke kawasan ini pasti bawa manfaat yang lebih besar daripada kepentingan-kepentingan individu yang tertentu.
He said this when contacted by TVS on Tuesday.
Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim will fly to Turkey tonight to express support for the country, which has lost tens of thousands of people in an earthquake. Earlier, Anwar has also allocated a total of 4 million ringgit for the deployment of the Malaysian Special Search and Rescue Team, or SMART, for the rescue mission in Turkey. He disclosed this when he has prompted a question by Taiping's Member of Parliament, Wong Kah-Woh, to disclose the details of the deployment. We have Muhammad Yusuf, a reporter, with more details on the matter.
Thank you, Lorenzo. Now, as you've mentioned, a total of 4 million ringgit was allocated for the deployment of the search and rescue team in Turkey, and these 4 million ringgit is distributed evenly for 2 teams which were deployed. One team was deployed on the 6th of February, while the second team was deployed 2 days later. And these teams consisted of different personnel from different governmental agencies, such as the SMART team, of course, the ATM, Malaysian Army Forces, and also the fire department forces as well, and several medical personnel from the Royal Medical Team. And then this search and rescue team is also part of the International Urban Search and Rescue Team, which Malaysia is honored to be part of. And from the whole team, a total of there were several hundreds of victims of the earthquake were rescued and found to be alive, while about 200 or 400 victims were found to be already passed away. And of course, these teams will be deployed until further action. And additionally, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, also the Prime Minister, also informed that a total of 110 personnel from the medical services were deployed to Turkey as an additional service to fulfill the needs of medical needs in case there are more medical attention needed to be given to the victims of the earthquake in Turkey. Now, as Lorenzo has mentioned also earlier on, our Prime Minister, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, will be departing for a short trip, I would say, to Turkey upon the request of its President Tayyip Erdogan. And let's hear what Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim has to say about it, because this trip was unplanned and it was by the multiple requests of Tayyip himself. Let's take a look.
Saya dah berputuskan rayuan daripada Presiden dan saya bila kali kedua berucap sampaikan pesan tu, nampak dia terlalu terkesan dan saya ingat sahabat-sahabat harus ada untuk berikan semangat dan dukungan bukan saja kepada beliau sebagai Presiden tapi juga kepada rakyat, walaupun kita tidak boleh buat apa-apa. Jadi saya mulanya enggan pergi kerana saya fikir dah SMART team dah hantar, hospital dah pergi mungkin, tetapi saya lihat kesan kepada Presiden dan pimpinan itu, dia rasa sahabat-sahabat harus bersama. Itulah sebab saya akan pergi bersama dengan Menteri Luar dan Menteri yang menjaga Nadma Nizam.
Berapa lama Datuk?
Dah sampai mana, kalau saya betul malam sampai esok pagi, esok petang saya balik. Jadi orang Jakarta bilang capek dirinya. Sebab urusan pertamanya Parlimen masih bersidang, dan keduanya beberapa appointment yang dibuat yang sukar ada saya pindah, masuk Syurat Majlis Kemajuan Agama Islam Menteri Khamis. Jadi maknanya sebelum pagi Khamis saya sampai.
And that's basically what the Prime Minister's, whatever important agenda the Prime Minister was involved or he was answering questions about for today's convening of today's Parliament sitting. And of course, we have more news to present to you, so make sure you stay tuned with us right here on TVS, especially for Utama TVS tonight, and of course Berita Utama at 7 p.m. later for live updates in regards to whatever perkembangan development that is happening right here in Dewan Rakyat. Muhammad Yusuf for TVS Kuala Lumpur, along with our videographer Faiz for TVS Kuala Lumpur. Thank you.
Welcome back. Debt among Malaysians has been a growing concern in recent years. Factors contributing to the high level of debt include easy access to credit, rising costs of living, and insufficient financial literacy. According to BNN Financial Capability and Inclusion 2021 survey, it was reported that 30% of Malaysians feel burdened by their debts, which appears to be a persistent issue for salaried workers in Malaysia. The amount of debt that is too much for an individual depends on various factors such as income, expenses, and financial goals. Joining us today will be the Head of Economics and Public Policy of Bait Al-Amanah, Abel Benjamin Lim. Now, Abel, how much debt is too much and what impact does it have on an individual?
As an individual, even as we're going through this kind of a situation here, economic situation in our country especially, definitely it does put many people into a situation where we do feel a bit helpless. We do feel we can only make men's meet at a very just a very tip out of it. It does make it very difficult. However, with a proper financial planning, how is it that we can handle and manage it well in terms of whether having knowledge on financial literacy itself or having a proper financial management, that it will help us to proceed further. And that, I guess, we can look into a few different areas. For example, one of it we can do is to create a budget. So a budget is where it can help you to keep track of all your income and expenses, but most importantly, it helps you to identify areas that you can cut off. So if you were to know your financial situation, whether is it a want or whether is it a need that may suit us, that's where we have to see and look into our expenses, into our income, and that's where budgeting is very important.
Paying off loans and debts can be a great financial accomplishment, but there are some common mistakes that individuals can make in the process. Now, Abel, what are the common mistakes to avoid that could further lead to financial burden?
Three mistakes to paying off debt. I guess the first very important thing when it comes to paying a debt repayment, what is it that we need to prioritize is really to focus and to encourage people to pay off high interest debt first. That's really very important for us to focus on. Considering or even consolidating or refinancing the debt to a lower interest rate, that would also help. These two different methods is something where we can really look into it, because when we put our focus on paying off this high interest debt as soon as possible, such as credit card debt, for example, this will help people to save money on interest and so even to improve their financial accessibility. And of course, with that, we also have to look into what the third option would be, is really look into what we should prioritize, especially knowing what are the needs and what are the wants, because we know that different people, we are different, and of course we have different needs and different wants. At the end of the day, the end goal is we want to avoid taking on financial obligation that could lead to financial burden.
Thank you, Abel, for the insights. See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates both locally and internationally. For more headlines anytime at tvstv.my or follow us on our social media platforms. That's all the time we have for TVS News at 5. I'm Lorenzo Isaac. Thank you for watching.